Go.
Hey, cucks and cockheads, fellow Minecraft Steve fans, welcome to episode 12 of the Coinflip podcast. I'm your host, the Chromaeus. You can call me Liam. Joining us again today, as usual, we have Lead Brain. What's going on, Lead Brain?
Not much. You sound tired, mate. Big day at work?
Rough day at the office, yeah.
Oh, jeez. I know you were previously talking to me about, like, some shitty customer experiences.
Customer fumbles. Have you ever watched the highlights of Gordon Ramsay's cooking shows, like Hell's Kitchen on YouTube, where he's just calling everybody a fucking donkey, maybe something like that, and he's just going off at everybody?
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay is just simply the best, man.
Not to that extent I have to deal with customers, but there are the occasional you have to deal with the, I guess, occasional insane person or just really arrogant person.
Oh my god.
Because let me tell you, the field I work in is, I guess you could say, hardware manufacturing.
Any sort of, like, service-based stuff, you get treated like shit. It's just that.
Well, it's not just treat, it's just customers expect a lot from you.
Yeah.
And you can only give so much, you know what I mean?
I don't care. It's just, like, to the point, like, do you ever have some attitude where you're just like, look, I don't care about your problem, leave me alone?
Yeah.
And then other days you're like,
but
yeah, sure, I'll help.
The problem is you want to, I guess, not get fired, so you have to sort of put on a happy face all the time. Even if behind it you're just like crying and yelling and being like, fuck off, customer.
Yeah, you have to just like, fuck off, I don't care about your problem. Yeah. I mean, have you ever had annoying customers that would constantly pester you for a discount or something like that?
All the time, but usually they're sort of in the wrong, and by that I mean like, I brought my son or brother's discount card with me. No, you can't, because at this certain place that I work, Bunnings Warehouse, for those of you who don't know, Australian, I guess, hardware, plumbing, tiling,
and now in the UK now, boy.
Yeah, I guess in the UK, in New Zealand, everywhere. So I have to occasionally deal with a customer who's just a bit stupid. Like, they say the customer's always right. That's a lie. Straight up, they're not always right. They don't work there. But, no, I mean, in terms of customer fumbles, I've had someone in a woolly shirt who was going off at me on, like, my second day working there, and it was like, oh, fuck you, I got a real job, what the fuck you doing here? You know, just being a
real job. It's just like, mate, they're all real jobs. But the definition of a real job is, do you get paid to do it?
Yeah, do you get...
Then, yes, it is a real job.
It's employment.
Deal with
it. At the end of the day. Yeah. But I guess the kind of customer fumbles thing, because I used to work at Macca's, still do kind of, and that's how do you describe it? Sorry, retail, fast food, whatever.
Hospitality/fast food.
Yeah, so you have to deal with a lot of stooges there, and by that I mean it's kind of like
that's just
but it's just such generic bullshit. Like somebody will come through drive-through and go, oh, you forgot my fries. Or,
no. Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask, the worst customers I find are the ones who ask for discounts and they see a damaged product.
Yeah.
And it's like. It's, like, really bad when it's just, like, you've got this brand spanking new thing that's, like, next to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, it's, like, perfectly functional.
and
then they want the damaged one. It's just like...
Well, because at Bunnings, we have this policy where it's like, if you can get the damaged one, and it's cheaper than the fixed one or whatever, that's a policy we have at Bunnings.
Yeah, it makes sense as to... But it's just like, why would you go out of your way to instinctively buy a damaged product?
Insurance?
Well, the thing is, like, you're buying it and you know it's already damaged. Why would you buy it? That's sort of my... Like, you can have, like, for instance, like, because I used to work in a supermarket, for instance, and the thing is, like, there was a point where a customer was trying to get a price markdown on, like, a damaged tin, right?
Yep. Damaged
tin of oil. It's like, okay, that's not going to have a huge difference between... the undamaged, the perfectly fine one and a damaged one. It's oil.
Yeah.
Oil is oil. But she was persistent on having the discount because of the damaged tin.
Well, I mean...
I was like, look, I can offer you the undamaged one, which is right next to it. You can take it, but it will be full price. Why do you want to buy the damaged one?
Because it's cheaper, I guess.
Yeah.
Because at Bunnings, it's like, I've had to do it in the timber yard, just cement and stuff. So there'll be a bag of cement that's got a hole in it. So we just put a plastic bag over it and we're like, hey, we'll put $5 off of this for you. Do you want this one instead?
Oh, that's
a good deal.
That's kind of like sometimes people will, like, customers will stop and think about, like, if I get confronted with a good deal, I'll stop and go, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing about just customer fumbles in general, I can name a specific one I remember at Bunnings, where basically this elderly woman, she was middle-aged kind of, she's probably about 50, she had some kids, or maybe they were grandkids with her, and she was just in the toilet section, right? She was really
so like in the showroom area.
Yeah.
In the showroom, okay.
Yeah. And she was looking at toilet seats or some shit, and it was like, and I came up to her, This is like my very first day. I'm not even joking.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because I work there, they expect me to know, and that's fine. I guess that's what you should expect from someone like with like a uniform on, whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even if it's not your department, you can just say to them, it's not my department.
That's what I said. What happened, right, was she's like, "Oi, tell me about this. Why is this price like that? What thingy can you do for me?" And I was just kind of like, "Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm not too knowledgeable. It's one of my first days. I didn't straight up say my first day."
Yeah, most people are pretty cool when it comes to, like, that sort of, like, oh, it's my first day, or this isn't my department.
But this bitch didn't stop. She's like, no, you work here. I want to hear from you. Don't go grab someone
else.
Yeah,
I work here, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't want to feed you false information.
Yeah, I literally just said to this stooge, I'm like, hey, I don't know. I can't help you. You'd be wasting time. Let me go grab someone who does know. That's the customer arrogance sort of thing where, they don't want to admit to them being wrong.
I've had to do, like, when I was working at the hardware chain I was working at, I had to help out in showroom.
Yeah.
Because my main department was hardware, so you get to really know hardware. You know the screws, nails, tools, which one's the best ones, what are the worst ones, what's which.
It takes forever to stop.
Tiles and like flooring and showroom, that's a whole other bloody ball game.
Hey, I was
That's like
So
you're in hardware. So do you actually So I don't know. Actually, the new site you're at is where hardware is. Is that where hardware was when I was working there? Or is it completely different?
It's just the timber yard is still the same.
Okay, so the timber yard is still in that.
For those of you who don't know, Masters Homes Improvement was a company that was briefly founded. It was briefly ran as sort of a company. They were a sister company, a parent company with Woolworths. They were run periodically against sort of, I guess, a rival to Bunnings Warehouse, which is a much bigger sort of hardware retail establishment or whatever. And Masters shut down within a span of 2 years, sadly.
Yeah.
And good old Leadbrain happened to work there for a bit.
But, no, what I was trying to ask is, because you've been in the Masters...
layout's the same. You can...
Oh, so...
Dude, this first I know...
It's 1-to-1, so where everything was... That's...
Well, I'll tell you what...
that's going to be trippy when I walk through there, man.
Well, it's Thursday night. It's a trade night. You should pop round.
Thursday night?
Yeah. Oh, personal stuff podcast with my... Yeah, but, you know...
Thursday night. Shit. Okay.
But the thing is, like, I'd say, because I went into Masters once in my life when it was open.
Yeah.
And I'd say, from what I remember, it looks exactly the same.
Okay.
It's just red instead of blue. You know, that aesthetic.
Okay, so they've got, like, the massive square desk.
Yeah.
In the center. Oh, that's going to be so... It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool walking back through those doors.
Yeah, but then you think to yourself, hey, I used to work here, and it's sad that I don't
anymore.
Shit,
this is actually kind of depressing.
Yeah. I'm sure you've noticed a few changes, but the majority of our state is quite similar. It's bigger than the old Bunnings that I used to work at.
Yeah, I do think that, because everyone's like, that was pretty big, but I thought it was quite small, but again, I had no point of contrast.
And you know what's really annoying? Getting back onto, like, annoying customer situations? Ooh. Children. You can't talk to them as casually. They're less prone to reason.
Oh, like kids are fun to deal with.
Maybe if you're talking to
not in a creepy way.
Yeah. Maybe if you're talking to like a 15-year-old he's actually being serious and wants to get into a trade or some shit. But if it's just some parent who's lost track of their kid and is running around being a little shit, like I was.
Oh, okay, yeah, they are annoying.
Yeah,
they are annoying.
Just like children a lot.
But I mean, like if a kid is with their parents and they're like just being a bit childish and playful, that's kind of innocent. Yeah. But if they're like running around screaming, it's just like, please. And my life now.
Yeah, you think to yourself, this is annoying. Why can't the parents shut them up?
Like, shut them
but it was like I was stopping.
And it's just like that's all you hear throughout your whole day. You're just like. I have lost it. I want to kill myself.
Running at home, just kids being annoying. I was stocking screws in one of the aisles, and basically this kid would walk around. I think he was about 6, and he'd just knock them down. But I couldn't swear at him. I couldn't yell at him and say. I just calmly said, "Mate, please don't do that. That's a lot of work for."
Yeah, sometimes one thing is like if I'd be like stacking stuff on a shelf, like and a kid bumped it or something, like the parents would like scold the kid and say, "Pick it up."
But I don't see parents with him.
And then they'll go, "Oh, don't give this poor man this young man more work." And then I just turn and look at the kid.
Give him a death stare, maybe.
Like I just like turn my head slightly, and the kid would be like, "Okay."
Like why can't they just shove them all on their little playground that they have there? It's annoying. But I didn't see.
Is it getting a playground in there or nah?
I can't. Oh yeah, there is one up front.
Oh, so they've installed a playground there.
Yeah, but getting back to the whole customer fumbles thing, you know, hear the funniest story at Macca's. Customers, for some reason, ordered the most specific items possible.
That's the worst.
Now, I think I've told you a few years ago, actually, the onion story.
Oh, fuck, not the onion
We probably
story.
don't need to go over that.
Not the onion story, anything but the onions.
But there is this one that I had a while ago, where I shit you know, and we couldn't say no because we have this stupid at McDonald's, this sort of kiosk custom order sort of thing, so you can make your own burger, whatever. This guy ordered instead of one big fillet, he ordered 2 different sides of the buns. He ordered like a Big Mac bun on top and like a cheeseburger bun on bottom, which makes no sense because it's stronger on top, so it would crush the burger basically. Half of the patty was meat, and he wanted the other half to be chicken, so he just had to cut 2 in half, and so that's annoying enough. And then he wanted a little crown bun in between that. Fine. He wanted 6 different types of sauces.
I don't know how hard it is to do.
He wanted Shang sauce, which is this new promotional item we have. He wanted Big Mac sauce. He wanted cheeseburger sauce. He wanted gravy on it.
And he wanted Szechuan sauce.
Oh, Szechuan sauce now.
Szechuan
if we had that properly. And then they ordered such specific things, and when you get like, you expect with a custom order, it's not always going to be 100% accurate because it's a custom order. So you can guarantee that they're going to be arrogant about it. Like I remember giving this guy this retarded burger. I'm like, here you go, and he's like, oh, you didn't order a fucking Big Mac because we have to put it in a Big Mac box because it was custom. I'm like, mate, this is how they come in it, and I'm like, oh, we'll see about that. He takes it and he's like, okay. Oh wait, there's no extra cheese on this or some shit. I'm like, yeah, mate, that's made to perfection. Oh, I didn't really say that, but
no, it's made to the way you've ordered it.
Yeah. So let me tell you about another time that was at Bunnings again, as you can imagine.
The onion story was great though, because the guy was like, he asked for a single strand of onion.
It's so dumb.
And that was it.
What's the point? You might as well just put none on it.
And you interpret it as one whole onion.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, that's a lot.
Not like a Shrek-sized onion, nothing like that.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, what's stranger, wanting one whole onion or just one slice of onion?
One tiny slice of it, because it's like a grain. What difference does it make?
Yeah, no, it's just like, well, that ain't gonna make it.
Well, yeah, eating towards the crunch. This happened back in 2015. That was a while ago.
No.
When we just introduced autistic custom orders, which I guess we're keeping for some reason.
Acoustic.
Oh, yeah.
They're acoustic orders. Acoustic people.
I was very nervous because when you're working in the timber yard at Bunnings, which I've done a few times, you have to sometimes help customers carry stuff to their car.
Yeah.
Like, oh, mate, help me grab this piece of timber.
Okay.
I'll grab the end. And I am, like, because it was one of my first weeks, I'm shitting myself. I don't want to scratch the customer's car because obviously that's not going to do well.
I had one time, me and 3 other blokes, we were, I had a customer buy a jewellery safe at one point. This was towards the end. And so me and a couple other blokes were like, okay, let's wheel it up to the front. The woman who bought it had a fucking Merc.
What?
She rocked up in an SUV
That's
Merc,
exactly the smartest thing to do.
and she wants us to lift a 200 kilogram safe into it. And we're just looking at her like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Oh,
We're
technically you have to though, can't you?
One of the manager was helping us move it in, and he was like, yeah, no, we're not loading it in there. I'll tell you what we'll do though, we'll hold the safe for you, come back
with a baker,
with a ute or something.
Yeah, that's what you should always bring when you go on a hardware place.
God damn, like,
because I've had people that are locked up.
We could load it in.
Yeah, we could.
But the problem is 2 things. One, how are you going to get it out?
And it's going to scratch the shit out of it, possibly.
It's going to destroy the suspension of that car.
Yeah, it just fuck it up basically. So always bring a ute when you're picking up timber. Yeah. But I've had people rock up in like SUVs, little soccer mum cars.
Yeah. But if you're picking up timber, that's not too bad. But if you're picking up a 200 kilogram safe.
Yeah, that's just
which is like, did you ever see the safes? They were massive.
Yeah, they're massive. The ones at Bunnings we have as well.
They weighed a ton. They weighed a heaps.
Yeah.
Not a literal ton, but they weighed like a ton.
Alright, let me tell you. So basically, I was carrying a piece of massive H3 timber, which for those of you who don't know, quite big if you know any timber sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's universal, so if you're American, you probably know. But the thing is, I was helping this guy carry 5 pieces. And I guess he thought I was stronger than I looked. I'm pretty tough, but don't mean to brag. So I was carrying it on my shoulder, 2 hands. It's like, oh fuck, this is heavy. And then we're slowly putting it on his car because his wife comes out and has to have a quick conversation with him while we're still holding it. I'm like, I didn't want to be rude, so I just say,
excuse
hey
me, mate, this is getting a little bit heavy.
Because I'm an employee, I want to be polite. So I'm like, sorry mate, I don't mean to interrupt, but we can hurry it up a bit. And he's like, oh yeah, sure mate, just 1 sec. A minute later, his wife finally goes, and then because I'm about to die.
You're just like,
it's like the weight on my hands and shoulders. I'm like, fuck, hurry up. So we finally, very slowly I might add, lift it onto his car. I slightly bump the window.
And it cracked.
Slightly.
Are you serious?
I didn't tell anybody about it.
Did the guy find out?
No, well, he didn't find out from me. I can tell you that.
You heard it here. Public confession.
No.
Public confession.
Oh no, our podcast with 6 subscribers. I'm gonna get fired. But yeah, you should. In that scenario, I guess you should always tell. But luckily, I was just too nervous. I'm like, oh fuck, what if I get fired? I don't want to risk doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah. this is that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because if you fuck up any of the customer's property, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know, you're
It
done.
was just the
You're
tiniest
done
crap,
for.
but I'm like,
You're
no,
done for if
I'll
you mess
just
up
play it
customer
safe
problem.
and act like it wasn't me.
Yeah, but the scary thing is like, at one point we developed a policy where it's just like, look, if a customer is asking you to help move heavy stuff, you can't help them. You cannot give them ideas. You can't do anything. You cannot help them in any way possible.
Unless you know exactly what.
No, you're not even then. Not even then.
Oh, well, we have this thing where it's
We have a policy, like, the policy was, okay, you can't, like, you can help them, but you can't help them, if that makes sense.
It's just like the workplace health and safety.
Yeah,
I guess,
that's what
policy.
it is. That's what it is.
Now, think about it like this. Let's say if I'm not qualified to do a few things at Bunnings, let's say, because I'm not fully trained yet.
Yeah.
So there will be these things where it's like, hey, if a customer asks you to recommend a certain wire when you're cutting wire or chain or something, you're legally not allowed to tell them. You just have to say, sorry, mate, I'm legally, company policy, not allowed to recommend or tell you anything about this because I don't honestly know anything about this.
Yeah,
but not only that, it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't tell you anything about this chain. It's like, there was one point where, it's like, there was a point where I was working in, like, screws and bolts and all that.
Yep.
And I was just doing my normal rounds around the aisles. So, like, just maintaining the aisles, serving customers. But one point, this customer was just like, oh, yeah, can you get me, like, a Dynabolt for this amount? And she said, oh, yeah, it's to hold up to something that was ridiculously heavy. And I was just, like, looking at her, like, thinking, like, yeah, a Dynabolt ain't gonna do that. But I can't tell her that because of WH&S issues. Because if I tell her that, the company's liable.
Yeah, it's the whole, like, PCP.
Because it's one of those things where it's just like, you sure? Like, it's like I can't tell you what to do, but at the same time, I can't like tell you what to buy either. It's just like you've got to know what you want to buy.
Well, it's
you got to
like,
know. I just point.
A lot of the time, a lot of amateur customers won't know what exactly they want, so you have to go like sort of, I guess, above and beyond and be like, hey, I can recommend this to you, but at the same time, I don't know too much. So if you don't want to risk it, then just don't.
It's different where it's just like if you're recommending a power tool or something, like if you're selling like a Nikita set or something. Yeah. Like you've got a Zito or a Nikita set, you would recommend the Nikita over the Zito.
Well, yeah, I'd recommend brands and stuff, but in terms of like massive products, they're potentially spending hundreds on, you can't exactly
You can't just go, you know. Whereas like something where it involves damages or something, it's just like, no, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, it's quite different, but I remember this one, I guess you could say fumble. I guess it wasn't really a fumble, but this guy was like pressuring me to sort of break the rules slightly. He's like, and I guess you get kind of confused. So I was cutting wire for him. I'm like, alright, here's your length of wire, mate. And he's like, yeah, before I get some more of this, can you just recommend to me, mate? And I'm like, I actually knew about this certain wire that he wanted because I'd been trained in that certain regard. I've since been trained in how to cut wire and everything. So I'm like,
it's not
mate,
that hard. It's just like measure it up.
It's easy. But this guy's like, oh, come on, mate, I won't tell anybody, just recommend me. And I was really tempted, because, you know, I want to go above and beyond, I want to do a good job. So I'm like, oh, mate, I'm really sorry, I don't think I can tell you. He just kept going, he's like, come on, please, mate, I really need this. He sounded desperate.
Was it an amateur guy, or...?
No, he was just a regular customer.
So he wasn't like a trader or anything?
No, he was just a regular customer. He's like, mate, please. He sounded really desperate as well. He's like, please tell me about this. I need to know about this specific wire.
He might have been like one of those...
Mystery shopper.
Yeah, mystery or undercover shopper.
We get them.
They're like really scary because...
And I was so close because I thought like, I want to help this guy out. He looks like tired, he looks bothered, he wants to do it. But I thought to myself, wait, what if it is a mystery shopper?
Yeah, it's just like, wait, I could get
like,
dogged in.
Alright, but don't tell my boss or something. And then he could turn around and say, actually, mystery shopper, sorry, you failed the test. I'm going to have to inform your manager. And I really don't want to risk that, you know? So I just said, I'm really sorry, mate. You can talk to a manager or higher up team member, but I can't tell you shit.
And also, when you mean wire, do you mean like rope or actual like cable?
Wire, like
wire.
Power cord wire, like this.
Oh, okay.
We have literally like I guess you could call them like a barrel sort of round drum.
Yeah, round drum
wire,
on a wall,
and we like
and you pull it down, and then you
snip
cut
a bit
it.
of it. I don't know how all that stuff works, but I know how to cut it now. Yeah. I know a bit of wire.
Yeah.
Even though I said I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. I know about it.
I don't know.
I've been trained.
I wouldn't know the exact specifics behind it.
I don't know, like this brand benefits over this one. That's why I didn't want to tell this guy. And what
I can just do like data cables, and that's it. So, that's all I know.
Listen, especially at bigger businesses all around Australia and everything, these mystery shoppers do exist. Yeah, so if you're having sort of a customer complaint or fumble or just is really bartering you for a certain thing, just remember, don't risk it, play it safe, and just follow policy.
That's what they want.
And don't dig in their windows and don't tell them.
Yeah, don't dig.
It was a few months ago and I haven't heard from them back. back, so keep mouth shut, see what happens.
And secretly, he's listening to this podcast.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna track down Zacharias. Yeah.
And fuck him up.
He'll hit me with his massive piece of H3.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sometimes tradies are great.
Tradies. We have
tradies are either really fun customers or they're like super
a nightmare.
Or a nightmare.
Well, I have this.
It depends who you get. Like a lot of the times they're just like, look, I just want this part. Point me in the direction.
Well, I'll put it like this: tradies are alright, and our bosses say, "Hey, we want to have like a tradies to have good opinion of us, so they can come here all the time." So our boss wants to be really nice to the tradies at the moment, and that's fine.
Wait, isn't the default place for tradies like Bunnings for everything?
Yeah, but there's also like Home Timber and Hardware and other shit as well. So
Home Timber and Hardware doesn't have a big as presence as Bunnings.
I know, but they are still semi-iconic. Yeah. I guess that's the word for it. Yeah. But imagine this, right? Wow, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, wait, I remembered. Imagine this. So we're setting up the new store of Bunnings right now. The new Bunnings that's open up. I'm not going to dox us, I guess, but I'll put it like this. It's been chaos. Putting stock away, sorting aisles out, cleaning up constant spills everywhere.
How is everything spilling?
Oh, I don't know. There was a leak from the roof the other day.
Okay, that makes sense then.
And
one of
my mates didn't know how to use like this, I guess, Zamboni washing machine, which you go over the floors on.
Oh,
so water started leaking everywhere, and I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Was it a floor scrubber?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, they didn't know how to use it. It's like water was leaking, so I had to go constantly get a mop, clean it up, whatever. But like, it's been absolute chaos, and there's tradies everywhere. They're fine. Tradies are trying to help out, but sometimes it's like, you got to stock a certain aisle, and then they'll have one of their stupid machines in the way, and you have to wait like 45 minutes, and your boss is like, why isn't this done? I'm like, oh, sorry, I couldn't get the tradies out the way. Both entrances were blocked, stuff like that. Yeah. So some of them are good people, some of them are a bit like annoying and arrogant at times, but you can't talk back to them.
But yeah.
If
but
you're
let
at
me
work.
tell you this, right?
Yeah.
Towards the end of Masters, we were like doing down stocking because we had a lot of stock up on top shelves and all that.
Yep.
Hard thing about that is we have machines that we have to use to specialize to get the stuff down.
Oh, fuck.
So the problem is, right? Imagine, like, did you ever see how busy it got in there?
Oh, yeah, I saw. I only went there once in my life, but it was chaotic, man.
Yeah, also it was during the...
It was when you were closing down, yeah.
Yeah, so it was bad. So, because I worked primarily on weekends, I was a weekend worker.
I'm a weekday worker so far.
Yeah. So, but this was during high school, so what are you expecting?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was pretty chaotic when we were at high school and working.
Oh, God. It was just crazy.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say... Oh, this fucking mic's not working. Who cares? Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, when we were at school and we had the jobs, it was probably the most, I guess, restless and chaotic time of our lives so far, because we had school, and then you'd have to go to work in the night or something like that.
Yeah.
That was most nights,
But the point I was trying to say was... Like, working on the weekend was a good escape from school. Like, I quite enjoyed it. But the thing was, I was trying to say was, when I went to go work, but when I was trying to get stuff down off the shelf off a big day, even though I had like a big 12-hour day to do it, holy crap, it was impossible to do anything.
Oh, dude.
The managers even realised, like, crap, we can't actually get anything done during the day because there's just that many bloody people.
There's tradies everywhere, there's customers everywhere.
And they're just, like, everywhere. They just stop. They don't stop, but they go through everything and they just ask you questions and stop. And you're like, me and, like, 4 other workers plus a manager, we were all working in there and we were just like, alright, that's enough. We're closing off the 2 aisles, lock them up.
Yeah, we close off aisles sometimes.
And like, the thing is, we didn't even close up the aisle completely. We closed up half the aisle.
And then a customer might walk in. 4 people
with one machine.
And then there's spotters as well. And
so there was like, it was like one person on the machine.
Oh, it's chaotic.
2 people doing the work and a manager. And the manager's sort of like overseeing everything, making sure everything doesn't go ridiculous. And then there's like customers everywhere. Like it was just like a massive sea of customers. Like there was no break.
And I imagine correct me, but it's kind of like this. Like you want to sort of stock an aisle. There's you and your manager, or maybe just a workmate, are like, hey, we got to stock these screws, but you can't stock them because customers keep grabbing them, and like you don't have room to do it. You have to wait a while.
Yeah.
So I've had a situation like that at the old store before setting up, and it's like, hey, Liam, why hasn't this been stocked yet? You were told to do it 5 minutes ago. I'm like, yeah, sorry, we haven't got around to it.
Wait, you didn't stock it in 5 minutes? Jesus Christ.
Or it's just an example.
It would take like,
something like...
It takes a good half, depending on it.
There's tradies working there, or people are... That section's really popular right now. There's a sale going on there. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Maybe the aisle's blocked off. A stupid tradie has a machine in the way, like a massive... I don't know, Zamboni or sort of like crane, which they use to fix all the lights and stuff. Needless to say, setting up has got a lot more easier, But I'm switching from setting up to packing up at the old store because it's closing down.
Ah, okay, so...
So I hope that's easier.
Oh, so okay, wow.
And I only just learned
so
how to...
So that store is just waiting for its big opening.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And then I guess the other one's going to become another iconic Australian franchise, like maybe Officeworks or Spotlight or...
That would be cool.
I don't know. A massive Burger King. I fucking know.
A massive J car. That would be cool. A massive J... Have you
Did someone say bring back JB Hi-Fi? No, not JB Hi-Fi. Fucking Dick Smith.
No, Dick Smith is gone, boy.
Yeah, gone and dead.
Gone, boy.
And Kogan's like, oi, we'll buy it.
Or we'll buy it. And now Kogan's like, oh, bitch.
There are, like, funny... I guess customer fumbles, not really fumbles or whatever. I got to stop saying that. Gordon Ramsay's in my head. Where it's like, I don't know, I go up to a woman and I'm like, can I help you, ma'am? And her kids are being really annoying. And she's like, yes, please take my kids.
And she's like...
I'm like, haha, all good. She's just like, the playground's over there. Maybe, like, I don't know, if I see some... We were told, like, hey, if you see some, parent who's really, like, tired and their kids are being annoying, give them, like, a free coffee card and say, here you go, you probably need it. Or something. Like, be nice to customers, drum up a good... That's how, like...
No wonder Master's lost. No wonder.
Yeah, they're very different.
Those little things make the difference. Yeah. The little things.
Dude, I'll tell you, it was...
Little things.
It's only, like, my second real job, but, like... Macca's isn't really a job. But it's like... Yeah, I took in so much information on the like trainee days. It took bloody forever. It was restless. There were 9-hour and 8-hour days, which is fine for working days, but this was like training days. So it felt like forever. You had to take in so much. You had to sign a million different things. You had to fill in these booklets. You had to do some activity. It felt like school. But you felt like you were doing something a bit more important.
It feels like this is actually something that is worth my
It's like,
time.
hey, you're an adult now. Do this paperwork for like the next 10 hours. And like, it gets grading.
Yeah, it's like...
I remember when I did my online training to get in there.
But it's just like, when you're doing all that stuff, it's just like, this is not as grading as schoolwork. Schoolwork was fucking...
I remember we had 4 hours to do like 19 online... Well, not 19, probably like 9. Online safety courses, or not safety courses. We just had 9 courses that we had to do in 4 hours. Online Bunnings courses, whether if you'd like the Be Honest thing, the safety thing, the customer sort of a thing. So there were all these different courses. We had 4 hours to do them. 3.5 hours passed. I barely did half of them. So I'm like, I'm not going to make this. I guess they saved the best for last because I blew through it in half an hour and I got it done like literally 2 minutes. I counted 2 minutes before the deadline was. So
what happens if you didn't finish it?
I guess you'd have to come back and an hour before whatever shift and ship it off, like, a little bit at a time.
And you couldn't... Wait, this is online. Why couldn't you just do it at home?
Oh, they had some bullshit thing where it's like, hey, we have a private server that you can only use on these specific laptops at Bunnings to do your training. But you can't access them anywhere else, and we don't want to risk...
It's an internal network that's locked off.
And because you work in the IT crowd, you work in the IT department for your job, I imagine you have to do a lot of similar things, like you can't check something at home or something like that, because it's IT.
Yeah, but there's ways that you can configure your network to actually port out, so when you can access it.
Your boss is okay with that, that's the thing.
Like, that's sort of one of those things where, this is sort of like, I have to earn that, like, I have to be at that level.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, because I'm at, like, the entry level, like, the tiny little guy who, like, knows nothing, and I'm there to learn. It's just like, when you're at that level, you're just like, holy crap, this is how little I know.
Well, I guess I had previous work experiences and work in general, but nothing on that level that I sort of came in to expect. And it was a very hard time, and I'm like, oh, geez, I'm so drained. And I found out, hey, I don't work till another week. Oh, this is cool. So I just studied and shit, and it was annoying, it was hard, it took forever, but, I made it. Got mates who made it too, and hopefully I got to stay on, because it's limited tenure so far, but, yeah.
Yeah, how is that, like, when does your contract wrap up?
Mid-May?
January, March, April, May. Oh, it's getting close.
Yeah, getting close, but I'll find out. And if not, I'll just apply somewhere else.
Will they tell...
Or I'll just apply for a different
Will they give you notice, or will it be like a 1 week's notice?
I'm sorry to be like a week's notice, really. If I'm honest, that's what I assume. And even if they said, like, hey, it's not the end of your term at Bunnings, we just can't hire you here right now because we got too many team members and these other people just slightly better. Nothing against you personally. I'll see what happens. But even if that's not the case, I'll just reapply to a different Bunnings later on. Maybe I'll apply to Home Timber and Hardware, because I generally like working there so far.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a lot of money, I'm getting a lot of shifts, it's great. I'm earning, I calculated, over $700 a week. But I get paid fortnightly, so that's like 1,500-ish.
Yeah, about that.
Every 2 weeks.
That's pretty good, bro.
So that's like, my grandfather wasn't making that much at his age, so,
No, we're not. We're like out-earning our parents.
At my age, rather. But yeah, I guess it's kind of the time we live in, where a benefit, you could argue and say, oh, the world's so racist and bigoted and everything's bad. But although I'd rather, I'll honestly say this, this is like the best time to live in, just because of like all the opportunities and stuff that's available. Like, you can jerk off the 80s and 90s and whatever, but they didn't have high-speed internet. They didn't have, like, a million jobs going around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, there is work out there. You just have to be willing to get off
Oh, yeah.
off your ass.
I'm not going to
and do
name the
something.
territory of Australia we live in, but I'll just say where we live. Problem is, there's not much jobs. It's all sort of outside where we are in New South Wales, but, yeah. It's kind of broad in the sense that it's like...
Oh, within this particular...
there's work in there. It's
there's
just
work...
in where we are, in
Yeah.
our territory,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like
our,
the worst part of
like
NSW.
our region.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get
It's-
what
it-
you mean, yeah. Like, there's work, but it's like there's not enough.
And
It's
all
just
the jobs like
all the
sort
work
after.
is everywhere else.
Maybe there's a lot of work in like Queensland and Northern Territory and shit, but like that's ages away and I'm not
Here's a
moving there.
could you live in Northern Territory?
Would you want to? I don't think anybody
Let me
would
tell
want
you
to.
this. One reason I would move to Northern Territory: pet crocodiles.
Oh, what?
I so want a pet crocodile.
You can get a pet crocodile. That's a selling point for you.
Yeah, selling point of the state. Well, we're a massive outback area.
We're gonna get oi, mate.
You can get a pet crocodile.
Yeah.
Stop. You had me a pet crocodile.
Yeah, but it's so hot and there's like
I just go
nothing down
stop.
there.
It's nothing up there.
Well, there's like the big cat. No, that's
It's
in
got
Perth.
you just live in
Oh.
rural Darwin.
Yes,
And
that
you can
could
have
work.
a
I see
massive-
that working.
And you can have a massive ass saltwater crocodile for a pet.
Darwin's a cool place, actually. Like, I've been there twice, but it's pretty cool. But you just go up and you get swindled by some Bob Odenkirk-looking guy who's Australian. And he's like, yeah, listen, Cobb, I'll tell you what,
What?
$50 can probably get you a good crocodile salt water. We could even hook you up with a tank for nice, let's say $20 courtesy of good old
$20?
Malcolm Turnbull. And I tell you, the limited tax rate makes you more liable for a saltwater crocodile than any time in history of Australia in the last 5 months. Now, I'll tell you, Australia, good time to live in Northern Territory, good time to,
Territory?
drive down to Darwin, maybe
Actually-
have a few schooners with the boys and
Actually,
buy a saltwater crocodile.
Actually, in Australia, what state couldn't you live in? How about that?
Which I don't know about that because I'm not too knowledgeable, but there's a state that I'd rather not live in, and honestly, that would be probably Western Australia.
Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Do you know why I wouldn't want to live in Western Australia?
It's a fucking desert.
It's a desert, and
It's
there's
a
like
desert.
there's 2 cities there. What are they? Wagga Wagga or some shit? I don't fucking
No,
know.
Wagga Wagga's in New South Wales. It's like Perth.
There's such
and
weird names, like
something else.
like Tallawarra and bloody
Well, yeah.
Brisbane and like Uluru or
The
whatever.
thing, well, Ullaru's in like.
Yeah, I know it's a rough. Whatever.
No, Ullaru's in.
Ugh.
No, give me a sec. I think it's in the Northern Territory.
Chewbacca-stan, who cares? Anyway, the
Chewbacca-stan.
point is, it's like, nothing in Western Australia, and it's just desert.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's-
a few cities, no jobs at all, probably.
Oh, there are a few jobs.
And plus,
It's like, let me put it this way. The biggest cities for employment is Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, then Darwin.
yeah. Wait, hang on. Wouldn't Tasmania would have a lot of jobs?
Hobart. I left out Hobart.
Hobart, that's the one. Hobart's like the
I left-
capital of Tasmania.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
No, Tasmania would be
I left
would
out
suck to
Tasmania.
live in because not only is it tiny, like literally, New South Wales is 10 times as big as like Tasmania. It's technically a part of Australia, Tas, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah,
it's one of the.
it is, but, like,
it's a
it's
part
just
of the
shit.
states and territories, but it's just like it's one of those places where it's like, oh, it's a nice place to live,
Because my brother lived
but
there
it's
for like
boring
2
and nothing happens.
My brother lived there for like half a year and he didn't like it at all. He said, "Nah, I'd rather be living in Queensland, to be honest." And I'd like that too. It's just Queensland. Luckily, there are
'Cause
places.
stuff happens.
Yeah.
Just stuff happens.
You know, if I was a millionaire,
Nothing happens.
if I was a
in
millionaire,
Tasmania.
I'd be living in Surfer's Paradise, just going to bloody Q1 every day. I don't know.
Just chilling
It's
on
great.
top of Q1.
Yeah.
This is life.
Well, it's not like that tower that we paid annoyingly amount of money to get in at
Sydney
Sydney,
Tower,
and it was
fuck.
shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's life. Hey.
Yeah, I'll probably go up there again.
Fair enough.
$20, fuck off. No, it's just like a. I want to say that there's more opportunity in Australia than there is somewhere
Yeah.
like UK, but at the same time it's not because there's a very different climate. Like a mining industry will be big in Australia, but
Yeah.
not so much in somewhere like UK.
Yeah.
And there it's all about.
I don't know.
What's it all about in UK? I don't know, electricianing or some shit.
No.
Something like that.
Hot Fuzz, police investigation.
Oh, I love that.
That was so.
That is a great movie. Hot
That
Fuzz.
was. I love how many movie references are in it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're talking about Edgar Wright now. I love Edgar Wright's movies.
Yeah. But no,
the
that's
first-
the UK's main export. Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what they do. They just watch Edgar Wright movies.
Yeah, that's all they do.
It's like the B-movie memes and We Are Number One memes where they re-upload, I guess, Hot Fuzz and...
No, We're Number One
World
song
Band.
is lit, man.
Oh,
Have you seen
Yes,
it?
I saw the memes that were like
It's
years ago.
now listen closely.
I know the whole song.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, let's have a singing battle on
No,
SingStar.
fuck no.
Here's a little lesson in trickery. Oh, this is going down in history.
Oh god, please stop.
Yeah, but anyway, it's kind of like with Edgar Wright. How do we get to whatever?
I don't know. How did we get to talking about
The first Edgar Wright movie I watched was bloody, believe it or not, it was Shaun of the Dead. And I was like
Shaun
8.
of the Dead is great.
Yeah, it's great, but I was 8 years old, and I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I fucking love Edgar Wright. But back then I was 8. I still loved it just because of the action and stuff. Because it's like British comedy. Back then, I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
Like,
but now as you're older, it's just like, this stuff is hilarious.
I'd laugh at the simple things when I was a kid, like Ed being like, oh, that's gay. And I'd be like, that's he said gay. That's funny. Because, you know, we're all still at that stage. But, like, his movies are so, I guess, timeless. But at the same time, I feel like this, because of the references and stuff, is sort of a product of the time. But it somehow has the benefit of being both timeless and a product.
Yeah.
But it's not like a cynical product like something like, I guess, the Minions movie or any number of, like, stupid animated shit out there.
I was going to say, of all the Edgar Wright movies I've seen...
Hot Fuzz is the best.
Hot Fuzz...
Scott Pilgrim's really good, though.
To me, Scott Pilgrim is good, but at the same time, it's only...
It's very...
Like, it's very video game.
It's bleak.
It's very bleaky video game.
Yeah. It's just the setting. It's like, can't decide... The only problem I have with
I
not Hot
can't
Fuzz...
even tell where it's set.
Yeah, no. I can. It's just like this sort of suburban...
I assumed it was some edgy dude who was trying to
sort of
bang
pixelated
some
metropolis.
girl.
No.
And he has to
And then he
beat
doesn't.
7 video game bosses who are actually like exes.
Like Metropolis sort of
How
thing.
does that make sense?
But the thing about Scott Pilgrim is the only real problem is that it can't decide on what tone it wants to have. It'll have like really comedic moments and it's like not dark but a bit serious with like the whole love plot and everything. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was like, oh no, there's actually another love interest. What?
I really like Hot Fuzz. That is a perfect movie. The action's so like...
Oh, yeah.
You could argue like, oh, the action's just crap and meaningless. But like, it's not meaningless. It's just a point. Like, it's over the top. It's bombastic. It switches tones and it's like really great.
How old are you? 31? Get out.
Or it's like...
He goes through and busts everyone throughout that movie.
Yeah, but then they're just like, the whole thing is like, everybody gets out of prison. It's like, they do... somebody robs the store. Oh, it was an accident. You can leave prison, and there's a whole like conspiracy going on where it's like, oh wait, everybody's actually secretly a murderer, and they're part of a sort of cult to win Village of the Year.
It's not everyone is a murderer, but it's just like specifically
you think
that group of people were murderers.
Because you got those people in like those shadow costumes. So you'd assume it's like you'd assume the twist would be like, hey, they're secretly digging on a cult. No, they just want to win fucking Village of the Year.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
It's just like, and it's just like, what? And then what about when they go to the old farmer and he has like all the he has the ocean mine and all the guns in the world.
And it's just Walter Fraser.
And he just like
there's 2 Game of Thrones actors in that. There's Walter Fraser actor,
Yeah.
David whatever, and then there's Sandor Clegane's actor, Rory McCann.
Oh my god.
How funny is that?
Yeah, I know.
And he's just like, yarp! And neither of them can speak a lick of English. One of them's like really inbred and the other's just like an old guy with a bunch of guns.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a great movie.
I have every right to own these guns.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a license for that one?
Well, this one I do.
Well, this one you do.
You
Wait,
know
what
what-
do you mean by this one?
You know what's sad? A genre which sadly has just been kind of warped and replaced with superhero movies and shit. Buddy cop movies. There are bad ones out there.
Have you
Men in
seen...
Black's are really good, yes.
No, have you seen Ride
What?
Along?
Yes, I've seen Ride Along.
Ride Along is shit.
Yeah, that's not a good...
Like, there's a few
It's-
there's a few good moments in it.
I wouldn't even call it shit. I'd say it's an enjoyable, perfectly fine movie. Like, the whole thing about Ride Along, I guess it's a not solid, but I wouldn't even say okay. I'd say mediocre movie. It's not the worst. It's probably one of the ones I wouldn't rewatch because it's just stupid.
I think one of the best scenes is when he was pretending to be the main villain.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, I'm Omar. And he's just like, oh, you're not Omar. And he goes, huh? And just shoots him.
Yeah. But
And
the
it's
buddy...
just like, oh, well done, nice me. But however, if I was me, if you were me, I would have killed him like this. I'm Omar. Oh, shit.
But like a buddy cop movie is something like, I guess Men in Blacks or something like... Have you seen... What's that one with the 2 chicks in it? It wasn't even that bad.
Oh, white chicks.
No,
Something
that's
white
not
girls.
really it. That's more of...
Is it
Why does everybody like that movie?
Is it 2 black dudes who become two
No,
of the
don't
world's
talk about
whitest
white
women
chicks.
in
No,
the world?
no, please don't talk about white chicks. I hate it. Why does everybody like that movie? It's garbage.
Because it's so fucking fucking weird.
It's weird and like slightly funny, but like that's
me?
all it's got.
There's like nearly a gay section with Terry Crews.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's just beloved movies being beloved just because that's what they are, just these stupid comedies.
Oh no,
But buddy cop movies in general, there's really great ones out there. Hot Fuzz is a prime example of what they all kind of should be like.
Yeah.
There's an underlying conspiracy, and the two main cops are like really different. Like one will be really serious, like Simon Pegg, and then the other will just be like really just sort of dumb and bumbly and weird. You know, that's kind of a really good dynamic.
Yeah. Or the massive gunfight at the end. Oh god, that is the best.
That was great.
That is the most satisfying way to end a movie.
It's like a massive gunfight, and then it's like, oh wait, main antagonist, everybody's dead. Oh wait, this guy's not dead. Then he dies off to get the bomb or whatever. You know, stuff from earlier in the plot coming back to serve a purpose, like the whole bomb. It was a great movie.
The bomb is great.
We completely skipped over Shaun of the Dead. That's a great movie as well.
Shaun of the Dead is good, but I'd say not as good as Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is definitely better, definitely. And there's a World End, which didn't come out that long ago.
I haven't.
You know where they do the whole pub crawl?
I know it's the whole pub crawl thing, but I haven't seen it all.
These weird beings come and they're like, oh, well, it's a great movie. I'll tell you that.
I should watch it. It looks stupidly.
It's
fun.
a bit underrated, I must say. Like I feel like people kind of forgot about it after 2013, but I'd say it's on par with Shaun of the Dead. Even a few elements that I prefer, honestly.
Fair enough.
Like it's well shot and everything, and the comedies are not really a product of its time. It's just kind of really good.
Yeah. I just want to do my pub crawl.
I would like to do another pub crawl. It's fun.
Oh, dude, pub crawls are great.
They are. I mean, you should go on one, but...
Oh, no, I have been on one.
You've been on
the
one?
work function.
Oh, well, that's kind of different. We've all been on one in that case.
Well,
but a real pub crawl is like you hire a bus for the night, they take you around.
Because
my brother's mate
at a work
did that.
function, all we did was we walked from the outskirts of Wollongong and we walked all the way.
Doxed. No, it's just Wollongong.
Yeah,
Who the fuck cares? It's so broad.
Yeah,
but it's like...
But yeah, that's the idea at least. Like, we just walked. Which is just kind of like, as long as we don't...
Alright, fine. We live in Wagga Wagga. You happy at Doxed?
We live in Wagga Wagga?
Yep, happy.
Dude, that Wagga Wagga's lit. Have you ever been there?
Isn't it like just a sand village?
No, it's actually like a rural... Think of it this way. The best way I can explain it is it's rural Wollongong.
I just kind of generalised it and assumed it was like in Western Australia where everything is just all sand and shit.
No, it's like a 4-hour drive from here.
Oh, fucking hell, that's more than Sussex Inlet.
Mm.
Oh wait, fuck, we just...
It's like, dude, it's rural New South Wales.
We just doxed ourselves again.
No, we did not.
Whatever, who cares?
How have we doxed ourselves?
Because we're like...
Yeah.
It's a 4-hour drive.
It's a 4-hour drive.
Like, oh, and then some super nerd out there will be like, oh, that's it, I'm going to find them and call them gay.
Holy shit, if you're that desperate
and I'll give them a customer fumble at work.
One thing I gotta say, holy crap, how have we not received any hate yet? Seriously.
What do you mean?
How?
Some fat social justice warrior is going to be like, that's it, face the flap of my arm crack, you patriarchal gum. And then, I don't know, call us misogynist on Twitter. That'll affect us long term, won't it?
I know, but why has no one has done it?
Oh, because we haven't really...
I mean, like what? President Sarah?
Yeah, but nobody, like, watches... I mean, they do.
I mean,
we don't get views.
I know Trump's old news.
Oh yeah, people are so egotistical they can't stop talking about him. It's called Trump reply syndrome, where you're so stupid and you can't think of an argument that you basically resort to posting crap memes on Twitter and being like, "Oh, I hate Trump. Trump's shit."
I so want Trump to win in 2020.
He will, because
I want him.
The fact that he won in 2016 is kind of groundbreaking in a way that it proves that anything's kind of possible. I'm not ragging on the guy. President Saris is a nice guy, but I'd go as far as to say that definitely it proves that it can still be done in this day and age. And you could say that the landscape of the world will change in a while, but I reckon he will probably win again.
And here's the thing too, you can probably say Trump is like a story you want to tell your children, where it's just like, look, this glorious man...
was a god.
No, but everyone said he couldn't be president. And he's president.
It's a classic underdog story. They said he couldn't do it, and then he did it. They said he couldn't punch his teacher in the first grade, and then he did it. They said he couldn't host Celebrity Apprentice and replace him with Arnold Schwarzenegger 13 years later, and then he did it. They said he couldn't become president for 2 terms, I hope, probably. And then he probably done it.
Who knows? Like, who really knows? Political climate is...
Can Hillary just fuck off? Obviously nobody wants her.
Oh, fuck.
That's the last thing I'm going to say, really. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for episode 12 of the Coinflip podcast. Have a mad day, whatever, buzzword.